Jabahaya Jorabahaya Utaka Abaya Agni Ibahaya.
What is actually the illusory mind? Okay, so the illusory mind is actually can be our Vedana, our feelings, emotions, and our sanya, our perception thinking, or our mental formation, as well as the consciousness. Of course, the rupa, the form, needless to say, it is even more impermanent. But usually we can experience the impermanence of the rupa, the form, objects around us. We can see, let's say, as you can see from Sifu's background, there are sakuras, the trees, and we know the sakuras will fall after the spring. So to us, it's very clear cut. Every forms, all the form objects around us, they are impermanent. They come and go, so that we should not attach too much to all these objects. But how about our mental activities? Without a deep insight contemplation, usually it's very hard for us to notice our mental activities. They are also impermanent, the non-self, and suffering, dukkha. As first talked in the Shurangama Sutra, the Buddha defines the characteristics of these illusory features of the mental activities, how shadowy it is to us in daily lives. Feelings trouble us the most. When we encounter sorrowful events or memories, we tend to be caught by these sorrowful emotions. It could be the past. When we recall the past sorrowful memories, your mind is being disturbed by the unpleasant feeling or the present. And if you are pessimistic, you think of the future, this not good, that not good also, you will have unpleasant feeling. And the other hand, when we recall the good memories, usually you will be amazed by your pleasant feelings, present and the future. So regardless, pleasant or unpleasant feelings, they will not stay there forever. They change according to conditions. But we think that this is very real to us. This is very real to us. And in fact, Buddha said this is just shadows of objects. What does it mean by shadows of objects? The unpleasant feeling comes from the unpleasant memory or unpleasant event. The pleasant feeling comes from the pleasant event or memory. So isn't it a shadow of the objects? It is because the external objects, the events that we are experiencing every day, they change according to conditions. So your feeling changes every moment. So if the feeling is real, it should not change. So why we are always up and down, we face up and downs experiences every day, and because we are cheated by this illusory mind, especially our feelings, the Vedana. As well, the sanya, the perception, the thinking, the mental process, okay? And according to the Abhidhamma, what is sanya? Sanya perception is actually what you call the mental process which labels or identifies something. This is a good man, or this is a bad guy. Durian is very delicious. Durian is not good. Okay, so you label things, and this is actually you are cheated by your perception. You're cheated by your own thinking. For example, Sifu were to ask you, is today a good day or a bad day? Okay, I see some no good, some no good, no good. Okay, so we have so many answers. Some say good, some say bad, some say neither good nor bad, some say great day. So which one is the correct answer? We cannot tell, right? So good day or bad day or neither good nor bad or whatever, great day, whatever, are the labels we give it to the so-called the 30th of October. 30th of October has no label. It's beyond good, beyond bad, or beyond great day, or whatever. It doesn't have a, what you call a label. And because every one of you here experiences different event today, that's why you label it differently. So the lesson is, don't think what you think is correct. Because everyone thinks differently. Everyone thinks differently. Why is it so? Because the thinking mind, the sanya skandha, is a illusory mind, which has no fixed location, no substance, impermanent, non-self, is a conditioned dharma. So be it good experience or bad experience, they both never last. Including the no good, no bad also. It never lasts. So if you cling on to what you have thought, then you are cheated by your thinking, the sanya skandha. And what is actually the sanya skandha? What is actually the thinking perception skandha? It's actually a shadow of the objects, the shadow of the events that you have encountered today. So for those who have encountered good event today, you will label the 30th October is a good day or great day. For those who have experienced bad events today, you will label the 30th October as bad day and so forth. For those who doesn't experience anything, just so-so, and we just say neither good nor bad. So they are all shadows of the events, the shadows of the impermanent events. It's not your true mind. It's not your true mind. It is a shadow. And you can't find it. Where is that thinking? It's not in the brain, it's not whatever, it's not outside, it's not in between that the Buddha has proven to Venerable Ananda. So it has no location. But we think that what we think is so real. This is the confusion, the avidya that we are having. That's why the Shurangama at first teaches us, please identify the illusory characteristics of all these mental activities. And the next one, the mental formation which results you in taking any action on anything is also illusory. Okay, after you have labeled it, you take action and you think, oh, this is what I am. This is my character. My character is like that. When I encounter bad events, I will just go people. Don't try and persuade me not to throw my temper. I'm like that one. Don't change me, you know. Somebody say like that, right? Don't talk to me like I'm like that one. My character is like that one. What do you mean by your character is like that? Character in the Buddhism is called mental formation. Why your character like that? Did other people character not like that? Why? Because we all was brought up differently, different background, different education, different what you call environment. That's why everyone's characters here are different. So if mental formation, if characters are real, everyone should be the same. But we are sure not everyone is the same. That's why it's also a conditioned dharma. It's subject to changes. And you may change your character even over a night of any big event that may take place. So it is not real. And also your memories, your abilities of distinguishing, of recognizing things, your consciousness, they are also illusory. It has no substance. So the Buddha wants us to see outside in. This is called insight contemplation, to see how illusory it is. But this is still at the level of concept. It's a conceptual level of understanding. What you have understood from Sifu's lecture is just conceptual, at the conceptual level. It has not reached to an experiential attainment. So in order to get the experiential attainment, you need to start your practice, your cultivation. So when we are attending Dharma talk, our purpose is to get the concepts of the Dharma so that we can practice it in our real cultivation. So after you have attended the Dharma class, don't think that, oh, I have understood what the Sifu has said. Yes, you have understood in terms of concepts, but you have not experienced it in terms of insight taste, the insight experience. So always theory must be balanced with practical. Now it's time for us to learn. Then what is the true mind? What are the characteristics of the true mind? So today Zoom will start sharing with us the characteristic of the true mind from the first angle. Okay, there are 10 angles of looking at it, and this is the first round, the first angle. Okay, let's welcome Zoom.
Ami Topher and Suki Hontu, Venerable Hombo, and all venerables in this Zoom room, brothers and sisters in the Dharma. Good evening and welcome to this Surangama online class. Today's topic is seeing awareness is the mind. Remember this diagram? This one actually Buddha showed the light from the face just to remind us and show us actually our true mind. It can be found from our six faculties. But today we are going to see how Buddha using the seeing awareness as a mind. So today we are going to discuss about seeing awareness is the mind. And there are actually 9 more. Seeing awareness is beyond movement. Seeing awareness is not perishable. Seeing awareness will not be lost. Seeing awareness is not returnable. Seeing awareness doesn't mix with objects. Seeing awareness is pervasive. Seeing awareness is not separable. Seeing awareness is beyond logic. And the last one, seeing awareness is actually beyond seeing awareness itself. So they are altogether 10, but today we only look at number 1. Actually, Buddha focused on the function of the faculty. So before this, Buddha did send forth a light from his fist. So he asked Ananda, a moment ago, you said you see my fist send forth light. So Buddha asked Venerable Ananda, and now he continued, what caused my fist to send forth light? Venerable Ananda answered,
the Buddha's body is the color of crimson tinted gold from the river Jambu. His body is like a mountain of precious stone. It sends forth light because it is born of purity.
How did I make the fist?
Buddha held up the hand for us and made a fist by curling his wheel-imprinted fingers.
What were you seeing it with?
I used my eyes to see.
Okay, from here, Venerable Ananda wanted to tell all of us how healthy Buddha is. You see the color of the crimson tinted gold, the skin is like this. Color of crimson tinted gold from the river Jambu. Then his body like a mountain of precious stone. This is how majestic Buddha is. And then it sends forth light because of Buddha's wisdom, compassion, and blessings. So that's why got purity. Then he sent forth those bright lights. And Ananda used his eyes to see the fist that is curled up to make the fist. So then Buddha asked. Buddha said, even all wise men also need analogy to become enlightened. So Buddha used the analogy of, if no hand, if I don't have, I wouldn't be able to form a fist. If you have no eyes, would you be able to see? So are these two situations similar? So Venerable Ananda answered,
they are, world-honored one. Without my eyes, I couldn't see. Thus someone's making a fist can be compared to my using my eyes.
From here, you see, Buddha actually didn't ask one question, Actually, Buddha wanted Venerable Ananda and all of us to realize and think for ourselves. I think the question that Buddha didn't ask is, what is the hand before making a fist represent? But Buddha didn't ask. Or, what actually make the eyes has the ability to see? Buddha didn't ask. He just continued when Venerable Ananda said these two situations are similar. So Buddha said, they are not comparable. You don't compare the two of them. No hands will never make a fist. One whose eyes do not function will not be totally unable to see. Why? A blind man without eyes can still see darkness. His seeing awareness itself intact. So here actually Buddha wanted to say a blind man still can see darkness. When we say see darkness, actually when a blind man, he cannot see any object in front of him. But what he see will be darkness. the seeing is actually, we'll say aware. He's aware that right in front of him is actually darkness. So because his seeing awareness is never lost, it's always there. So the eye faculty and seeing awareness are different entities. No eyes can still see darkness because the seeing awareness is there. So seeing awareness doesn't require the presence of eye faculty or the condition of the eyes. Then we go on and see what Venerable Ananda will ask or reply.
It's true that all a blind man sees before his eyes is darkness. But can that really be what we call seeing?
So Buddha said to Venerable Ananda, is there any difference between the darkness seen by the one who is blind and the darkness seen by sighted people who is blind? Blind man see darkness in front of him. By a sighted people, when they are in a completely darkened room, can all of us just close our eyes? Close the eyes and put your hand and cover your eyes. So, okay, what did you see?
Darkness.
Darkness. Everyone else sees darkness, right? So when we close our eyes, so what did we use to see the darkness?
Mind, I guess.
It's the awareness. It's our seeing awareness and the mind that know that there is darkness in front of us. And the darkness in front of us and the darkness seen by the blind man, are they the same? So Venerable Ananda answered,
No, world-honored one. There is no difference between the darkness seen by sighted people and darkness seen by the blind.
So you see, the blind person should also be considered seeing. Because when we close our eyes, we see darkness. We say because of our awareness, we see darkness. So the blind person also can be considered of seeing darkness. So we can say seeing awareness does not require the presence of object that is brightness or darkness. Because like just now, if you are in a pitch dark room, then that means the environment around you will be all dark, darkness. So you straight away see darkness. But just now when we just close your eyes and cover it with your hand, your house or your hall or your room is still very bright, but you still see darkness. So that means we do not need brightness or darkness in order to see. The seeing awareness is there. So the seeing awareness does not require the condition of light. Then Buddha asks again, then suppose, Ananda, that the blind person who has been seeing only darkness now sees before him a variety of objects because suddenly he regained his sight. In such a case, you would say that it's his eyes that see. See, for example, this blind man, he's very lucky. Somebody already pledged to donate the cornea of the eyes. Then this person died because of accident or some illness. So the doctor can harvest the cornea to be transplanted to this blind man. So before the cornea is being transplanted, but the man is dead already, can we say the dead man can see?
No.
No? Okay? Because the seeing awareness is not there anymore. That's why he cannot see. So the doctor harvests the cornea fast enough. Can we say the cornea can see? The cornea also cannot see because there's no seeing awareness. But once it's transplanted onto this man's eye, the blind man's eyes, and this blind man can see. So do we say the cornea sees? Or the dead man's eye sees? Actually, it's not. What can see the object is actually the seeing awareness of the blind man. So it's actually the mind. Then Buddha give another example. When the sighted person who has been seeing only darkness in the darkened room now sees before him a variety of objects because someone has suddenly lit a lamp, you will have to say by analogy that it is the lamp that sees. Now if a lamp could see, it would no longer be what we call a lamp. Moreover, if it were the lamp that sees, what would that have to do with that sighted person? So you see here, if the lamp can see, we can ask the lamp to see for us and read for us also, and then we don't have to read. But unfortunately, the lamp cannot see and cannot read for us. Here, say if we are in a very darkened room, there is any object which is luminous by itself, then we can see that special object. If there's nothing that is luminous, then you can only see pitch dark. You cannot see anything. When somebody on the lamp, so the light actually shine onto the objects. The objects, whatever, the cushion, the table, the painting. So all these will receive the lights from the lamp. Then it will actually reflect it to our eyes. Then our eyes will actually change the signal, The signal will be sent to our brain. So we cannot say the lamp that can see. We actually just reveal the object only. So Buddha say the role of the lamp light is to reveal visible objects. They can't see. So it's the eye that has the ability to do the seeing, not the lamp. He said the eyes can only receive lights from visible objects. The eyes can't see. When the light from the objects, say from the cushion, from this table, it reaches the eyes. So the cornea, the function of the cornea is actually help to focus. It will focus the light into the pupil. The pupil is the small dot, a small opening at our eyeball there, which will control the amount of light to enter our lens. So once it enters, then the lens, together with the cornea, will actually reflect the light onto the retina, which is behind the eyeball. And then the retina there is full of the nerve cells. And then these nerve cells of the retina, then the nerve cells will change all the lights into electrical signals, or we call it impulses. So these impulses will be sent by the optic nerve. Behind our head there's a lot of optic nerve. This optic nerve will actually send the message to our brain. So our brain will turn it into images. So you turn it into the cushion, into the painting, then you'll see images. But then, what then knows what images are all those? Is it the eyes or is it the lens? No. So it's our mind or the awareness. So it's the mind that has the awareness and not the eyes. So in conclusion, so when a blind man sees darkness, what does this mean? It means that actually the seeing awareness doesn't require the presence of eye faculty. Why? Because the blind man can see darkness. His seeing awareness is intact all the time. What about the sighted person sees darkness? Example, in a pitch dark room, when the outside environment is dark, or like just now, when we close our eyes, the outside environment is bright. We still can see darkness. It shows that seeing awareness doesn't require object, doesn't require the brightness or the darkness. And the darkness seen by the sighted person and the darkness seen by the blind man is actually same darkness. Conclusion 2. So if a blind man regains his sight and sees objects, what does this mean? What is doing the seeing? When it's a blind man regains his sight because somebody donated the cornea. So is it the cornea that sees? Because the cornea had gone to his eyes. Does this mean his eyes sees? Just now we did explain, no, not his eye. And so the example of another one, if a lamp is lit in a dark room, allowing a sighted man to see, the lamp also cannot see. Both the blind man, the eyes actually cannot see, and the lamp also cannot see. Then what sees? So by analogy, the lamp light can only reveal visible objects. It can't see. What is doing the seeing? It's the eyes that do the seeing, not the lamp. That means the lamp is just to reflect the lights, shine the lights onto the object and reflect. And the eyes is doing the process of seeing. But still the awareness is not the eyes. In actuality, the eyes also reveal visible objects, actually receiving lights from these visible objects. It's not the eyes that see. So, in reality, it's the mind that sees and not the eyes. So today, the conclusion is seeing awareness is the mind. So that's why all these awareness, that's why Buddha is using these faculties to tell us where our mind is. So that's all for seeing awareness is the mind.
The true mind should be beyond all conditions, even beyond object and subject. It's actually the ultimate nirvana state that the Buddha has attained. So if you were to ask the Buddha, you have achieved nirvana. What nirvana is about? According to the Shurangama tone, it should be beyond all conditions. Because anything, as long as it is still conditional, it cannot be permanent. And it is non-self anatta. So nirvana, the ultimate nirvana of the Buddha, should be beyond all conditions, beyond subject and object. Then only that can be real. Okay, that can be real. There's no more illusory. Anything, as long as it is still conditional, anything that is still involves subject and object, it is illusory. Okay, so today's lesson is the Buddha is trying to show us where the true mind is. What is the characteristics of the true mind? The characteristics of the true mind, the Buddha uses seeing awareness as a stepping stone to reveal us the characteristics of the true mind, whereby the true mind, the seeing awareness, doesn't require the presence of the eye faculty, nor objects. Where are the proofs? Blind man's eyes are no more functioning, but a blind man can still see darkness. So it proves that the seeing awareness doesn't require the condition of the eye faculty. Okay, because a blind man with eyeballs destroyed, he can still see darkness. Okay. This one you don't need to doubt anymore because Sifu had experimented it with Sifu's grandmother. She was not blind, but as she grew older, about I think 70s plus, one eye was blind. So because Sifu learned Shurangama, Sifu purposely tested her by asking, Toa, when you close these eyes, I mean that one that's still functioning, what do you see? What do you see? And my grandma said, oh, I see Hakka, you know, means dark lah. Dark. I see dark. So what the Buddha says is correct. Blind man sees darkness actually. Okay. And a sighted person sees darkness without the condition of light. So this proves that the seeing awareness doesn't require object of light to see the darkness. And vice versa. When we see brightness, the object of brightness, we don't require the object of darkness to see brightness. So it means that the seeing awareness is beyond object. So the true mind should be beyond faculty, which is the subject of seeing, and also beyond the object of being seen. That only this can be considered real. Okay? Temporarily, please bear in mind this is real. But actually, the concept of real itself is also illusory. Later on, the Buddha will explain. The concept of real mind, the concept of true mind itself is also an illusory mind because it's still a concept. Okay? It's still a concept, so conceptual dharma. And what you call okay. So the Buddha gives a scenario. When we are in a dark room, we see darkness, we cannot see the objects clearly. After we have switched on, after we go and switch on the light, and we see all the visible objects. And in this case, we may say that, oh, it is because that I've switched on the light, that's why I can see all the visible objects. Okay? Then, Buddha said, if you say like that, then a blind man at first see darkness after the cornea being transported and he see all the visible objects. Then also you can say, it's the eye, the new corneas that causes him to see. Okay, which is not correct because the cornea cannot see. Okay, so why? Because the lens. Okay, so the real fact is. So please don't be mixed up with the analogy and the actuality. Now got two things. analogy and actuality. Okay, now we talk about analogy. So in the analogy, the lamp can only reveal the visible object. It doesn't have the function to see. Okay, if we study science, we know the lamp is to reflect the light onto the object so that the light are being reflected into the eye and the cornea, and then the retina catches the signals of the light and then converted into electrical signals, and the mind to the brain to interpret it. So the function of the light is just to reflect the light of the object. The sutra says the light reveal visible objects. It uses this expression. In the analogy, please don't mix up. In the analogy, is the eyes that see, not the lamp. And then now goes to the actuality. In actuality, our eyeballs, our cornea, retina, whatever, okay, our eye faculty, can only reveal visible objects. It cannot see. It doesn't have the function to see. So, just like Som has shared with us, our eye has the function to catch the light. Okay, the cornea, the pupil open up, and then the light signals being transferred to retina. When the retina detected the light, and it will convert it into electrical signals and send to the brain to interpret. Right. So the eyes only function up to there only. It doesn't have the function to see. Okay. Because dead people also have eyeballs, but how come? Some people die with the eye widely open like that. Say to the eye open wide like that. Then, can he see or not? Can a dead man die with the eyes widely open, see or not? If you say the eyes can see, as long as there's eyes still intact, then the dead man should also see lah. Because the light also can catch inside the pupil retina, because his eyes widely open. The dead man's eyes are widely open. So the eyes cannot see. The eyes can only reveal the object. So a dead man with eyes widely open, although the light signals are can enter into his cornea and up to his retina, but because he has lost his mind, he cannot see. Right? He has lost his mind, he cannot see. We have our mind, that's why we can see. So in actuality, our eye faculties, the function is to reveal visible objects you cannot see. The one that sees is our mind, not our eyes. So our mind is beyond object and subject. The true mind is beyond object and subject. It's beyond all conditions, in short. So if you were to ask the Buddha, what is the difference between your mind and my mind? The Buddha will answer you this one. My mind is free of all conditions. Totally free. That's what we call liberation. Nibbana has another expression of it. It's called liberation. What do you mean by liberation? Liberation means freedom lah. You get you get out all the bondages from all the objects and the subjects of tying you up, bonding you up. So you get rid of all these bondages beyond all conditions. This is called liberation. The state of liberation, the taste of liberation. So one day, if you become a sage, Sotapanna or Arhat or Bodhisattva or Buddha, your mind will be so free. Nothing can bind you. Nothing can bind you. Inner, outside, nothing can bind you. Mental factors cannot bind you. Forms cannot bind you. Even though the jhanas that we mentioned, the object or subject also cannot bind you, then you are totally liberated. This is the state of the Buddhahood that the Buddha is mentioning to us.
Jaya Graha